Hey guys, it's back at Entertain. In case you're wondering why my setup's a little different here. So, usually when I record a vlog like video, I usually go to my, let me just get the mic closer. I usually go to my basement and kind of record in front of a wall. But the table that I usually set my stuff on, I think like last week or 2 weeks ago, the legs broke, which I mean, it's whatever. I mean, the table is like 13 or 14 years old. But yeah, there's no other table. I mean, it's like a smaller table, but it's not doesn't it has like no, it's not like high enough to show like just half my body. Uh, the point is the table that I usually set my stuff on. The legs broke, so I can't really record on anything there. So I'm just kind of just in my dining room. Um, but no one's here, so I can just kind of still just kind of talk. If anything, probably is better because it's not cold in the dining room. So yeah, I mean, um, yeah. But yeah, I'll just get straight to the point. So this video is going to be is about the Quiet on Set documentary that premiered earlier this week, which is a documentary that I say showcases, but like highlights the abuse, assault, just the toxic work environment that was in just late '90s, early 2000s Nickelodeon shows, particularly some shows from Dan Schneider, like All That, The Amanda Show. Um, it's to a lesser extent Drake and Josh and iCarly, but they really like were honing in on the environment of All That in The Amanda Show. Um, And it's funny because like originally I was going to do this video in like two different parts. Like I was going like so I was going like so I had like one. I recorded like a voice file of like my thoughts on like surface level stuff and just I basically had like a idea of doing like before watching the documentary and after watching the documentary. But I feel like that it's just much easier for me just to be like kind of like compile my thoughts into just one long video. Um, because I would hate for me to like say something in the before documentary and then I turn out to be completely wrong after. I don't know. Just I think it's just easier for me because I kind of want to get this video done. So I do have like a lot of notes that are from before and after, but I think it just all like just encapsulates the whole experience. But for this, There's three main things really. One, I'm going to talk about the documentary itself. I'm going to talk about Dan Schneider's apology, and I'm going to discuss, I guess the legacy of the shows in general, or just like how these shows, like how should you approach these shows in 2024 with all this in mind. I'm just gonna say this right now too. If you're coming in expecting like a 1,000% Dan Schneider sucks like rant view, that I'm just laying on that I'm just laying on now. Like I'm definitely have there's I'm definitely gonna call out Dan Schneider on a lot of things. This video is mostly gonna be me questioning his character. I'm also going to delve into his writing style too and how that kind of like plays a part into this whole mess too. But I do have my stance on certain things. So I just know, yeah, just hear me out basically. Um, I think I should talk about the I can't see. I want to talk about apology video first, but I kind of want to talk about the documentary itself. Let's start with the apology first. Actually, no. Let's do the But yeah, actually, let's just do the apology. So basically, after the first two episodes of Quiet on Set, Dan Schneider had an apology video with what's his freaking name, Tebow from his real name's Boogie, but real name's like Bobby uh, something. But no, his stage name is Boogie from who played Tebow in iCarly. And yeah, this apology video came out like 2 days, or it just came like a day after the first two episodes. My hair's like hair was like poking out. Sorry. Oh yeah, I forgot. I have new hair now. Anyway, I'm trying to get dreads. No, so um, he had a video with Tebow from iCarly pretty much, and and the video is not 5 minutes long. It's like a 20-minute long kind of like interview kind of thing, and that's where it ends. Um, and he apologized for some of his actions. He apologized. He tried to clear the air on certain things, like the rumor of him being kicked off the set when he reality, according to him, it was just the set was just very toxic in general. He was just kind of in the writer's room writing the script, or just stuff like that. Now, one thing I know that so there's two things I got to point out with this just from the jump. Um, Number one is there's this like something I've noticed with like cancel culture is that if someone is like getting canceled, they often like bring their looks into it in some way. What I mean is that so Dan Schneider, like so when he was when people when the apology video came out, a lot of people say that it was staged. A lot of people say that it's fake and he's not genuine and all this and that. And then there's some comments saying that he even looks like a creep. How could like kids work with him? Or now it looks like Dark Side Phil. Or but just the main idea is that people said that he looked like a creep, so he had to do it. And again, I'm not condoning any of Dan Schneider's actions. I'm definitely going to get into that when we get to the documentary. But I don't like this idea of like someone looking like a creep because they look like a certain person. That means they had to do it. Like no, it's just like yeah, Dan Schneider did some really really bad stuff, but like if he was conventionally attractive, if you will, it still wouldn't make it okay. Like I just feel like that. Some people were just like, oh, he looks like a big toe, or he looks like a creep, so he had to do it. I just don't like that mindset because just like it's just that seemed like I don't know. I just again like if Dan Schneider looked like, you know, if you look like Denzel Washington and still was doing all this stuff, that still wouldn't make it okay. That's just that's just one thing I don't like. I mean, it's interesting because like even I remember people were saying the same thing with Pro Jared when he was canceled. I remember with Pro Jared, like some people were just saying like, "Oh, he looks weird," or "He looks creepy." I'm just like, you wouldn't have batted an eye about Pro Jared's appearance, if he didn't get canceled. I just don't like how people like want to say that people look like this to fit the bill or something. I just that's something I just disagree with personally. Like I'm not trying to say pretty privileges are a thing, but just like the point I'm trying to make here is people make it seem like that Dan Schneider looks like looks like a creep or a predator or whatever, so he has to be. I don't like that mindset because I just think that if he looked like quote unquote handsome, if you will, then his actions would still be wrong. So I just want to get that out of the way. Number two is Dan Schneider just like say sorry many times through the video, and towards the end he makes a blatant apology and say like what he would have done differently if he had to do things over again. And people are like I said before, people are saying how he's not genuine. People are saying how he's not he just the whole thing is staged. I personally don't see that. I mean, the way I see it, if I feel like that if he I don't see the benefit of being in denial over what you do. It's just like I don't see why he would stage it, because at this point I feel like he's already in like a deep enough hole. I feel like that if he just staged this whole thing to look like he was a victim, then that will only dig him into a deeper hole. So what I'm trying to say is I think he's legitimately sorry personally, and I think that people kind of intertwine the his genuineness with the ability to forgive him. What I mean is that I think so many people are just like they see like what he's done before. They are just past the point of forgiving or past the point of seeing him, correct his mistakes or admit his mistakes. That honestly, I think he could give the best apology of all time, and people will still find a way to say it's illegitimate. I feel like that people are just so concerned. I think some people just they know he's at past the point of no return. That if he just says any apology, it's not going to be taken. It's not going to be taken credible. I just think a lot of people just kind of confuse, just genuineness of the apology and how much they want to actually accept the apology. That's the main point I'm trying to make here. So, that's something I've just kind of noticed. I just feel like that. I personally think he was being honest about how he felt. I personally think he was legitimately regretful for his actions, but just that doesn't excuse what he does. It's just like you can acknowledge that he apologized, but also not accept it, or also realize it's too late. It's just like you can those things will have to be different. Those things can coexist. You can acknowledge that he apologized, but at the same time say that. Sorry, my hair's messed up. But at the same time, not not take any of it. It's just like those things don't have to be like different. They can coexist. That's how I feel. But I'm trying to look at my notes here. But yeah, I just think that people just kind of entwine the genuineness of his apology with whether they want to accept it or not. Another thing I have in my notes is I'm just looking at my notes. Sorry. I wish you mentioned. Oh, actually, sorry. This. Yeah, let's get to this point. I wish you. I mean, see, it's interesting because I kind of wish you kind of addressed the foot fetish stuff. The documentary did, you know, make light of it to an extent. Plenty of other YouTubers have made light of it. I kind of wish you addressed like. See, the thing with me is like, if he addressed the foot fetish stuff, then I don't see how we can have a good answer because. At worst, if he says, "Oh, I like child feet," then that's just automatic red flag. Like that's inexcusable. But if he's saying something like, "Oh, I just like feet in general," or "I think it's funny," then people are going to see right through it. So I don't know. I mean, it kind of ties into the whole apology thing, but I don't know. Even still, just I really don't know how you can get out of the whole foot fetish thing. I really don't. Again, if you have a fetish in general, that's you. But just you exploiting it on children, you just doing disturbing things with you're just ugh. Yeah, that's where there's a line to be drawn. I'm trying to look at the rest of my notes. Here, this is where it gets very interesting. Sorry, someone texted me. I think that the documentary, like the idea of him being very ill-tempered or just having like a very abusive, people always felt like they were on the edge around him. There's like very like pompous presence to him. I think it kind of ties into his writing in a certain sense because, in all honesty, just kind of reviewing Schneider's writing style at this point. My biggest thing with Dan Schneider's writing style, some of the weaknesses I've noticed, like even as far back as like Drake and Josh, was that his writing can be very mean spirited sometimes. Obviously. If you don't got conflict, then you don't have a story. I recognize that, but it's just like I don't know. I mean, sometimes his mean spiritedness in his writing, it's funny. I mean, Drake and Josh is pretty much sadist humor. Now think about like a lot of like 2000 shows have an emphasis on sadist humor. Post movie SpongeBob has sadist humor. Just a lot of Nick cartoons in general had like rely on sadist humor, sadist humor in 2000s, and Drake and Josh, while it was a cartoon, they kind of do the same thing. And by sadist humor, I mean characters are tortured, characters are screwed over whenever screwed over in so many ways, and there's no real resolution to it. But it don't matter because you're going to see them. Sorry, it was a motorcycle. Sadist humor, characters will get tortured or whatever, but, and there will be no resolution, but it won't matter because you'll see in the next episode. That's pretty much, like, what I'm talking about. But, yeah, I mean, Dan Schneider just, like, you kind of rely on sadist humor a lot with, like, Drake and Josh, iCarly. Victorious to a lesser extent. I'm just thinking, like, Drake and Josh, the main characters were pretty much on the opposite end because like Megan will always do stupid pranks or whatever, and she never get like comeuppance for it. And I even said in the Drake and Josh videos that it was just really, especially in season 3, it was like really frustrating for Megan to do horrible stuff all the time and never get caught or never get comeuppance for it. And I mean, I'm not saying nothing ever bad happens to her. I mean, Drake and Josh did mess her up when she went on a date in Megan's first kiss. But more often than not, when Megan does them wrong, she gets away scot-free. I admit it was frustrating. And iCarly, especially with the whole Sam and Freddie thing, where Sam constantly rags on them, constantly belittles them, constantly puts them in some sort of danger, or just like it constantly furthers herself by putting Freddie down. And again, it's haha funny, I guess, in the extent, but it's just mean spirited because Sam just never got her comeuppance for it, and there have been a bunch of episodes that have been ruined by Dan Schneider's mean spiritedness in the writing. I mean, just been plenty of episodes, especially season 2, even season 1 as well, where Sam is tearing down Freddie and gets no comeuppance at the end. It's just when it happens over and over and over, it's just. It's just mean, I mean, it'd be one thing if it's like Tom and Jerry, where Jerry's always on top, but like Tom is trying to eat Jerry. It's just like that kind of comedy is fine if it's, if it's what's the word, if there's like some sort of threat on both sides, but not really, you know what I mean, but yeah, trying to think. Another thing too is his Dan Schneider has a very warped view of relationships. Especially, I just reviewed the SETI arc 2 months ago. Spoiler now. I'm going to mention this again when I get to Victorious season 1. I feel like that kind of spoils an answer for a later question. But anyway, I think Dan Schneider's writing when it comes to relationships is honestly just really, really is. I always thought this. I think it's a bad influence to kids. I think, I'll be fair, Josh and Mindy were written pretty decently, and Drake and Josh, but it seemed like Schneider's Bakery, like the writers think that all relationships all relationships just come down to a kids audience is just kissing or making out and fight and toxic fighting or in jealousy as well, and that's just a very, I don't like how kids are impressionable. Like, you're influencing kids by making relationships seem like that. It's just, I'm not saying he influenced a whole generation of bad relationships or anything, but no, it's just, I feel like that his writing on relationships, it kind of, I'm not trying to like delve into his marriage or anything, but it kind of shows how he views relationships, and I just think I mean, am I wrong? I really feel like that a lot of relationships that are written by him, just either toxic fighting, toxic jealousy, or kissing. I mean, it's just either high highs or low lows. Yeah, I mean, just relationship. I mean, I'm not the a Riz god or anything. I'm not the king of relationships either. My longest one was 5 months. But no, just like in general, relationship requires like understanding. It requires compassion. It requires like some level of friendship. It's just like it's just I'm freaking 20. I haven't been like in a really really good relationship yet, and I know this, but yeah, but I just think that his really bad view of just writing of relationships kind of ties into his abusive nature in some way. My main point is I think that his writing kind of ties into his the workplace environment that the documentary sheds light on. But now let's get to, so that's just the apology. In general, I think that he was being legitimately remorseful, but I think that he's at a point now where he's done so much bad stuff, and it's another thing too, real quick, is I forgot to put this in my notes, so sorry for kind of like stumbling on words a bit. At one point, he mentions, or like not him, people were just mentioning how he's upset that he got caught, right? Or he's sorry that he got caught, and I kind of agree with this in one sense because it's 2024. He got fired from Nick 2018. Now I understand, wanting to like wait, excuse me, like a few months or even just a year, just to get some time to just like compose your thoughts and like own up to your actions. No, it's interesting because I remember he had like 2 interviews before 2024. In 2021, he was outright admitting, he was outright saying, hey, if I did all this bad stuff, then they would incarcerate me. Like he had like more of like not like smug attitude, but he had like more of like I guess denial, not really denial. I don't know what the word for it is, but he had that kind of perspective. And then like I think 2022 is when he had like another interview or like a spokesperson or whatever, and that's when he kind of like admitted that some of the stuff like the female massages and whatever, that some of the stuff wasn't cool. So but I can still kind of agree that I can still kind of understand people say that he only saying something after a documentary has been released and like this and that. I can kind of understand that. But that's just something I've also seen as well. I definitely agree with that more than people just saying, oh, it looks like Darkseid Phil, so he has to be guilty. Yeah. All right. So as for the documentary itself, to continue on with Dan Schneider again, I'll be honest. I was just genuinely appalled at just how bad he treated just the people around. I'm serious. It kind of gets to me personally because I say personally as if I worked with him. No, it gets to me because, so if you don't know, I want to be a filmmaker. I want to be like I want to be a director, and I want to have like my own film studio or like have my own team behind me. And it's really interesting watching this because it's just seeing how Dan Schneider treated people. It's just like, this is just showing me what not to do. Like I feel like I feel like I wouldn't do. I mean, it's interesting because like for me, I have like I got a little better with it, but I used to have. I mean, I still can have like a bit of a bad temper, but like not like no, I want to like yell at kids or anything. Like no, of course not. No, I can have like sometimes a bad temper. When I feel really depressed, I become self-destructive. So it's just like no, there's some stuff I keep in mind when I eventually want to have my own team helping me out. But no, just some of the stuff that Dan Schneider did. I mean, um, just I mean, just the fact that these kids they're in the formative years. They're not sure. They're trying to figure themselves out. And for Dan Schneider to just say stuff like, what's her name? I think it was like Katrina. I forgot her last name. She was saying how she was on the show, and then I think Dan Schneider and another writer said, "Oh, you're becoming fat," or "Oh, you're not cute again," or something like that. I mean, that's just belittling. I mean, all she doing is just growing up, and she had to be told that. I mean, just some of the stuff that Dan Schneider just told to kids who are just again trying to figure themselves out. This is inexcusable. It really is. I'm trying to look at my notes here. Just the kids and all of that were just kids and all that. The one black girl from Amanda Show. I mean, again, like just some of the actors from My Carly Victorious, they were just treated horribly. They were just treated. They weren't treated like kids. They were treated as if they're much older than they really are, and that's just a horrible way to go about it. I don't like it. Um, not even just kids like the Amanda Show, the two female writers, they just got a raw. It's just they got the raw end of the deal. Now Dan Schneider did clear up the whole splitting salaries thing. I think that I don't mean I feel like that it's really interesting because I partly feel like he's being truthful about how for that show he had two female writers, or he had split his salary for two female writers. For another show, they had split salary between male and female. Like I want to believe him on that, but I can honestly buy the story of the two women saying saying how it was definitely biased towards female writers. Another thing I found very interesting, honestly, I just find it really stupid more than anything else, is that Dan outright told them, hey, women writers aren't that funny, or women aren't that funny. It's just something like, they said something sexist like that, and said, okay, prove me wrong. And I get where he's coming from, but, like, mind you, the show is called The Amanda Show, so you base a show about a woman you think, or a girl, because, like, Amanda was, like, what, in her early teens, I think. You base on a girl who you think is funny, and then you say women writers aren't funny. The math ain't mathing there, but but no, just the management writers had really awful treatment. The one thing that stuck out in my mind was it was like at one point where one of the writers, I think Dan demanded her to like he demanded her to act like she was like I mean, what's the word? Sodomize or something. It's just pretty much. I'm just gonna be straight with you. Dan wanted have her want her to say something, but actually saying act like she's getting railed or something like that. It's just something very provocative like that, and it's just like I'm like, why? It's like, I mean, like he's not no horny, stupid teenager or something. He's like in his 30s or late 20s at this point. He's going to ask his female writers to do this? I mean, that just speaks volumes to me. And ultimately, it's just a guy in a position of power thinking he can just do whatever the heck he wants. And it's very unfortunate. It really is. I just feel so bad. And it's a stressful feeling to feel like, you have to do this stuff or else not only you could get fired, but you could lose your career in Hollywood. Like I can imagine that just that's just a stressful position to be in. I honestly feel sympathetic for the Amanda Show writers. I really do. Now as far as nothing that was highlighted in the documentary, I'm trying to get to Dan Schneider part, but like okay, so I'm trying to get to the Dan Schneider part, and then I'm gonna go on to Brian Peck, then Jason Handy, and then go back to Dan Schneider for this last moment. Let me just put that in my notes before I forget. Hold on. Lifetime achievement tobacco. There we go. Okay, sorry. Okay. There was one more point that's saying that Dan made like a lot of like inappropriate jokes, and I mean not just the foot fetish stuff. I mean just some stuff like Alexa Nicholas's character, I forgot her name. Alexa Nicholas's character is really one of the ones spraying like something in Jamie Lynn's face, and people were thinking that thinking that's just I'm trying to think of a good word to say this with the being like, trying to be TV PG, but just like I'll put it this way, like she squirted something and got all over her face, so I'll just leave it at that. People thought that was inappropriate. That's a very, very adult, risque joke. The people made like a lot of points how there are a lot of jokes in Dan Schneider's work that are very like adult or just like give off this the sign of give off like innuendo. What the? Oh, sorry. I'm just looking at my Instagram. Or not my Instagram, my email. Innuendo vibes, and I'll be honest. Some of them is just some of them. I agree with. I mean, some of it's just really, really bad. I mean, the foot fetish stuff, especially, that's what gets me the most because, I mean, just like the fact that he's having teenagers and like kids bare feet on a lot of these shows. I mean, I feel like that some people could make the argument that you just think it's funny or whatever, but no, I mean, it's just some stuff like him saying like hashtag Salmon Cat right on the bottom of your foot, this, or they just based on like Twitter posts he made before, that dude got some problems. It's just, I don't think it's just him being funny. I just think that he, for whatever reason, thinks that, this is okay. I just don't. I don't think so. Now I will say this much though. There's some jokes on there that I think were. I think they're stretching it a little. I think in the documentary they were kind of stretching it a little bit. Like for example, this one. There's one line in the Victorious episode, The Wood. Trino's like, I want to be on The Wood. Now, obviously, out of context, that sounds really bad. But the idea was the show is called The Wood, as in Hollywood, as it's like a reality show based off of Hollywood. So, I mean, just like that's nothing. Like, some people just want to take these clips out of context. But, just some of it, it makes sense within the show. Not every little thing is going to be innuendo. But I do think a lot of it is, like, really, really bad. Another thing too was like I remember in I Get Pranky from Mike Harley. Overall really solid episode, but no, like in the beginning it had like a web show where Carly. So the bit was just some Mike Harley fan was like he gave his dad like a bloody pickle or something, and then he bit in the pickle and they started bleeding. But anyway, the gag was Carly Sam later on. Carly Sam started eating pickles, and I mean I think that if you can have pickles on a show and not be innuendo. I think that, I mean, again, like, I feel like that clip was taken out of context of the show itself, So, that's another thing. I will admit Dan Schneider does have some inappropriate jokes. He does have a lot of them, actually. Especially, like, the one part and all that where freaking Brian Peck, like, puts, like, a pickle through the hole and looks like a glory hole. Like, that was really bad. A lot of this is very transparent and blatant, which I don't like. But, no, yeah, it's just some of those jokes. Some of those jokes. I feel like that they're just kind of stretching it. I feel like that they're not inappropriate within the context of how it's told. So, the point I'm trying to make is that's one thing I just kind of outright just disagree with the documentary. I don't think that all of these jokes that were in there were inappropriate, but I think that most of them were, but some of them I think were just they're just taken out of context and just sounding appropriate like on their own. But yeah, so. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to see what else. And I will say this much though. The stuff on the slap though was very, very inappropriate. I think the one thing that just outright grossed me out is the one where like this one slap video where like Tori and Andre they have like ketchup on Tori's feet or something. It's just like, ugh, it's not funny. It's just gross. It really is. It's just and then like a lot of stuff with Kat or with Ariana Grande's character, where like there was one where she had like a water bottle like squirting like down her neck or something. And there was another one where she had like a potato and was like, I want this juice. It's just like, dang, you're not slick. You're transparent. It's not funny. Like it's just what's so funny about, what's so funny about having teenagers do, perverted jokes like that. It's not funny. It's gross. It's sick. It really is. I'm trying to think of my notes here. I think it's all I can say for Dish Nine. I mean, just in general, he. Okay, I'm gonna come back to him because I'm gonna mention the whole lifetime achievement debacle. But no, but yeah, in general, he was just a whole He was just very mean, very disrespectful to his colleagues, people that want to work for him. And like I said before, just a guy in position of power. He could just do whatever he wants, and it took like what, nearly 30 years to get away with it. It's just wait. Yeah. Oh wait. Oh no. 20 years. Yeah, because all that was late '90s. So yeah, 20 years. Sorry. Um. Yeah, but it's just bad. Now, no. The other thing that the documentary mentioned was Drake's Bell. I said Drake's Bell. Drake Bell's sexual assault with Brian Peck. Early, he was sexually assaulted by Brian Peck. It's the first time he mentioned this out in public. He mentioned in the documentary that um, he only mentioned it in therapy and whatnot. And it's I feel so bad for Drake. I really do. I feel like he just went through the ringer emotionally. Um, I know he had that controversy in 2021, but I mean, just I see like there's two main things that make me the most upset about this. Number one is obvious the fact that he was like clearly manipulated by someone who's like in his 40s and trying to like get with a 15-year old. It's just and like that by itself is really really bad. But the fact that he drew a wedge in between Drake and his dad, and then got his mom involved, and just like literally took advantage of the fact that his mom and dad were not on great terms. Like the fact he took advantage of that, Ryan Pick took advantage of that, and just kind of like cut Drake's dad out of his life. That's just. I just think that's insanely manipulative, insanely. It's very possessive. That's another thing. It's just. It's sick. It's awful. Yeah, I just oof. It's awful. Again, I'm not faking this at all. Like I genuinely just why Drake told his story. I'll be honest. Like, when Drake told his story, I didn't cry or anything, but it touched me in a way. Sorry that bad use of words, but no, it just it just really just um I just kind of felt I just it touched my heart in a way. I don't just I can't think of a better word for it. But no, I felt something. There we go. Because I sorry no I felt something. I really did, and I just can't imagine going through that at his age. It's just nasty. It genuinely is. What's also nasty and what's just really nasty is this Jason Handy dude that part genuinely disgusted me when I saw it. So basically the idea the story was that this kid who was on the Amanda show named Brandy, she was she like had like the email of Jason Handy who was like the PA of all that, and I think the Amanda show. And apparently he like would send her emails or whatever, and send emails, and like they kind of like just exchange back, which already like is kind of a red flag. But because I wouldn't if I had a child, I wouldn't let her send the email to like some 30-year-old. But well, unless I supervise, like if and first of all, I mean, like if I had a child, I should mean if I had a child in general, then I wouldn't let her text like some older person in general. But like if it feels like a child actor and like a boss, then like I can kind of understand that, but I would have to like supervise it. But you know what I mean. So, but then like at a certain point, Brandy's mom, who was in the documentary, said that Brandy was she randomly she got some email from Jason Handy. It was Jason Handy. Oh my god, it was disgusting. So Brandy got like an email that showed Jason Handy masturbating, and mind you, Brandy's like a child, and he's in the 30s. Like when I saw that, I genuinely felt disgusted. Like it's just, that's just that's genuinely just that's awful. That really is. And then eventually we got arrested, and then they found out he had like Ziploc bags of like little girls' undies, and he had like bags of like other stuff from. It's just he was just that was just awful. Ugh. Um, Jesus, and I mean, just in general, it's just a shame that Dan Schneider had. Um, or just that just a production. I mean, not even just Dan Schneider, just that production crew in general. I think it was named Colin Robbins. They had um, people like Jason Handy and Brian Peck on set, like literal predators. That's just you know, background checks are a thing. And I'll be fair. People. Brian Peck wasn't a registered sex offender when he worked on all that, but it's just like I feel so bad for. I just it's awful. Like I mean. I'm honestly speechless on a lot of documentary. I just feel like it's just generally just horrible situation to be in. I really do. Just to have like people who are just exploiting kids. It's awful. It's generally awful. And then one other thing that I mean, just and the other thing that gets me about the whole Brian Peck and Drake Bell thing is that I mentioned like he drew a wedge with his father, and it's just like Drake Bell's dad was looking out for him. He was doing the right thing, and he got punished for it. But yeah, but just in general, like they're just. I mean, I can go on forever about all this, but it's gonna be me just like being visibly disgusted. So just a lot. It's just amazing to me how. Just these two outright and I think the worst part. I mean, snap. Sorry. The worst part is that I think everyone and their mom mentioned this. Okay, there's two main things that I really hate. Number one, during the trial where Brian Peck was tried, he had like a whole like on his side of the room there were like a bunch of actors literally supporting him, and there's some people who literally said he wouldn't have done it if he wasn't tempted. I just. Like so the fact that actors and actresses legitimately thought that, like, okay, why was he with a 15-year-old boy to begin with? That's the like, forget him being tempted. Why is he spending months on end with a kid at his house that isn't his? Like, and then he's doing horrible things to him. Like, what did people going to say? Like, I'm very curious. Who are some of the actors and actresses who were on his side? Because like, if I knew someone who sexually abused. Okay, if someone's sexually abused someone in general, that's bad. I'm automatically done with them. But if they like sexually abuse a child or a 15-year-old. Then I will never defend them at all. Like like it's not even a sense that the actors think that he's innocent. Like, no, they knew he violated Drake Bell, and they still stood by his side. I find that gross. And then Drake Bell had literally no one on his side, or like he only had his mother and his brother, and it's such a shame that despite how toxic he's been to like a lot of other people, he was like one of the few people that was on his side. It's just that's just crazy. And then the worst part, not the worst part, but just the cherry on top of this garbage Sunday is that Brian Peck ended up working. After he did his time in jail, it's already bad enough he only did 16 months in jail. The fact he wasn't there for life or just for a longer period of time is already bad enough. But after he registered as a sex offender, he literally went on to Suite Life with Zack and Cody. I don't understand. I don't get it. I just don't. That baffles me. I don't get it. I don't get it. Stuff like that. Like, background checks are very important. Like, you just. Oh. But yeah, that's just that part. This whole thing is very disturbing, but it's just like that really got to me. But yeah, shame on Brian Peck for assaulting Drake. Shame on Jason Handy for being like a self-admitted pedophile. Like, he literally mentioned in court documents that he admitted himself he was a pedophile. I'm like, you got But there's two last points. So At the end of the documentary, I'm almost at 40 minutes. Wow. Anyway, at the end of the documentary, it was kind of like making a timeline of Dan Schneider. It was like kind of like around the hold my neck. Ow, 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 ow. Sorry. It was showing how Dan Schneider was awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award in 2014 at the Kids Choice Awards, and they're saying how it was ironic because like around this time he was being investigated for the toxic workplace, Sam and Cat, and then 4 years later he ended up getting fired. So, it's very interesting because that they mentioned that because I distinctly remember even in 2014. I thought something was kind of weird about him having a Lifetime Achievement Award. I don't know. I just like, it's just I don't know. It's interesting because like he made shows that I enjoy. I enjoy iCarly, I enjoy Victorious, I enjoy Drake and Josh. But no, it just felt very weird to me that he was just getting like a Lifetime Achievement Award. Now I'll be fair. I don't think it was because of allegation or anything. I don't think it was because like Sam and Cat came on around this time, and I hated Sam and Cat. I still do. Uh, And even I think I even mentioned it in the season 4 iCarly video. I thought I knew around this time was the writing for iCarly Victorious was taking a turn for the worse. So I just thought it was very strange. He was just getting an award when his writing was starting to become garbage. But I remember like just 2014. I wasn't really ecstatic that he got an award. I was thinking I don't know. This doesn't really sit well with me. And then 4 years later, he got fired. I mean, I just find that poetic in a sense. But no, just 4 years later, people started looking into him having very inappropriate jokes. People started looking into him being a horrible person on set, and he ended up getting fired. So he got fired for He got that's 20. I remember that because I remember it was on Twitter. It started blowing up. Dan Schneider got fired from Nickelodeon or got a $7 million payoff or whatever it's called. I think a layoff, but anyway. I remember Twitter. It's funny because like Twitter, some people were just like, "Well, recent shows weren't that good anyway." So, and I was one of those people, but no. But it's just very interesting just to see how just 1 year this guy is revered for making really good shows, while no one knows the stuff behind the scenes. And then a few years later, it all just comes crashing down because stuff just finally comes to the surface. So. It's just incredible. I mean, I just Now one last point I have to make. I think did I get everything in my notes? I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. Oh wait. Okay. Hold this. Okay. There's one more thing that I want to mention. Okay. So I remember mentioning this in my I remember mentioning this before, but I want to mention. I think I mentioned it in the audio file that I got to leave. Anyway, sorry. Because again, like I originally wanted to do like a before and after kind of thing with the documentary, but like I kind of deleted because I thought this would be easier. But no, I remember addressing this before I watched the documentary. So in the apology video, he mentions how he takes pride, or he doesn't agree with the black actors being like overlooked and whatnot, and he was saying how he takes pride in diversity and. I've wanted to mention this for a long time, to be honest, but I feel like that, okay, number one, he mentioned in the show that he had black lead in all of his shows, and that's blatantly a lie because, he had Kenan and Kel, which had 2 black leads, or really 4 of them, 5 of them actually. Then he had all of that had black leads. But Drake and Josh didn't have any black leads. Carly didn't have any black leads. I don't really count Tebow because he came like he wasn't even he didn't have his own like title thing in the intro, so I don't count him as a lead. So like that's a lie. But even then, I feel like that he has like very superficial diversity. What I mean is that and again, I'm not trying to pull the SJW card or anything, but. When he does have black people on his shows, they often are. I mean, there's some exceptions like Andre from Victorious, but more often than not, they can be kind of loud and annoying. Like, well, okay, so I'll put it this way. So in iCarly's pilot episode, I distinctly remember even mentioning it in the review as well when I reviewed the pilot episode for season 1. They literally had like one black kid who's there. But all he does is just like freaking rap and be annoying. It's just like I mean, honestly. And then I I'm trying to think. They say like a lot of coded like I mentioned this in the season 5 video. Like they say like a lot of coded stuff about Tebow, and like Miss Smith said a lot of coded stuff about Tebow, saying how he gotta be like more what's the word? More like I don't know. They make him seem like he's more ghetto than he really was. Even Game Shakers, they made they made Kel's character, Double G, kind of like loud and obnoxious. They hadn't even made his bodyguards, really like loud and obnoxious. It's just like, it's superficial. I'm not trying to pull an SJW card, but it's just like, it's superficial diversity. I mean, like, I want a character who happens to be black, not a character who's written to be black. It's just like that. That's all I'm asking for. And other stuff is just like how Andre. I mean, he's cool. People gravitate towards him, but like, has anyone noticed like he doesn't get with anyone in the main cast? I don't know. I mean, like, Tori and Beck almost got with each other. Jade and Beck were dating. Robin and Kat, like, I just like he's looking like, and then Trina tried. Okay, now I'm probably just overlooking it or overthinking it, but no, I just think that he has like just superficial. Dash has like superficial diversity. Is what I'm trying to say. But no, the last point I want to make is this ultimate question: should you still watch Dan Schneider knowing all these, knowing all this about him? And also, am I going to still review Dan Schneider in spite of all that's been said in the documentary? To answer the first question, yes, but be caught. Like, if there's an inappropriate joke, skim through it. What I mean is, like, so the way I see it, number one, there are plenty. I'm pretty sure there are plenty of other people that work. There are plenty of other people that don't have ill wills, aren't jerks, aren't bad people that worked on Dan Schneider's shows. So I feel like that just core cutting on all of them because of his actions behind the scenes, I don't think that's fair. I think that there's a lot of hardworking people. I think the same thing with, excuse me. I think the same thing with the Cosby Show. I mean, Cosby Show, yeah, Bill Cosby was a serial rapist. He's did horrible things to people. But I mean, I feel like that there's plenty of actors, production people that worked really hard and showcased their talents in that show. So, I mean, I understand some people can't separate the art from the artist. I do get that. I do think that there's a line, but I mean, really, I think that good comedy is good comedy. If you do enjoy Drake and Josh, then keep watching Drake and Josh, And I mean, if you do enjoy the best episodes of iCarly, then keep watching the best episodes of iCarly. Now, mind you, I do think that, I'm kind of conflicted in a sense because, like, there, especially in iCarly Victorious, there are a lot of like foot jokes and that are very great. A lot of like some innuendo, like just if you see like an innuendo joke, then of course it's not appropriate. I would say just like skip through it, but I don't know. Maybe like in the future those scenes will be censored. I don't know. Just in general, I don't think that you should stop watching Dan Schneider shows because Dan Schneider did horrible things. And the way I see it, I feel like that the kids on All That, for example, endured so much toxic stuff on the set. I feel like that if we just stop watching the shows because of what they didn't do, then that's just kind of punishing them in a sense. Like they work the hardest. They try to deliver good comedy for our childhoods. The least we can do is like watch them. Keep watching what they do. I feel like that in a way. I feel like that not watching what the kids done before is kind of punishing them. Kind of punishing them in a sense. So now, as for me, am I still gonna review Dan Schneider content? I kind of spoiled it earlier, but yes, I do plan to still review shows. I got season six to do for iCarly. I got 4 seasons of Victorious. I'm briefly gonna look at Sam and Cat. Trying to think. I do have a plan for Henry Danger and Game Shakers, but no. The point is, I think we're honestly like the halfway point, I would say, of Dan Schneider. I'm not going to review any of the stuff that is kind of associated with the brand, but Dan Schneider didn't work on himself. Stuff that happened like after he was fired, such as I take that back. I do plan to do a review on the iCarly reboot or iCarly revival, but I'm not doing Danger Force. I'm not doing that's pretty much it. I'm not doing Danger Force, but yeah, I'm still going to keep going with it every episode Nation I reviewed, because the one thing gave me views, quite frankly. And I will say this much though: any future episode, if it has like a blatant innuendo or blatant like adult joke that should not be with kids, the episode's not getting a good rating. I'm just gonna be straight, because the way I see it, my ratings not only just to show my thoughts of the episode, but also if I recommend it. And I can't recommend an episode if it has, I can't recommend the episode, to an 8-year-old if it has a nasty innuendo. I mean, yeah, it can fly over the head, but they should be seeing that to begin with. So, yeah, any episode that just has blatant innuendo like that is automatically, it's not getting a good rating. Everything else is alright in the episode, and it may get meh, but I'm just being straight up. I mean, I'm gonna be straight up right now. Like, Cat's new boyfriend. It's funny because like I've been waiting to get to that episode for a while now. I'm gonna get to that when I get to Victoria season 1. And even before the documentary came out, I thought that the foot rubbing subplot was really, really weird and really, really disturbing. But I'm glad I'm not the only person who thinks that. So, but yeah. Well, I think I got everything on here. Yeah, but in general, this is the documentary was very interesting, eye-opening, but still disturbing thing to watch. I feel so sorry for the child actors who had to endure it. I feel sorry for Drake Bell, who was assaulted consistently by Brian Peck, and having people like actors and actresses literally like stick up for Brian when they know he did horrible things. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I'm Ev here, Entertain, and stay tuned for my next video. So, yeah. Adios.